Hello there, fellow Monster Madness ghouls and goblins. You're currently hearing the voice of a girl with no name, and it's here with very, very clear intentions to sound the alarm. Before you listen any further, beware that frightful spoilers and deliciously explicit language lie ahead. For once you find yourself in the midst of those telltale bumps in the night and the haunting howls of host laughter and cinematic judgment, there is no turning back. Choose wisely.
Look what I did. I packed you and your cousin some goodies for the ride up to camp. Wasn't that nice of me?
Any chips?
Why, of course. I believe there's a whole bag. Why, I'm almost sure of it. I believe that I've forgotten something. Now, what can it be? Oh, I remember what it is. I knew I would forget. I just kept reminding myself. In fact, I tied a string around my finger so I wouldn't forget. See? And I didn't. You never can be too careful.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Monster Madness, a podcast dedicated to all sorts of creature features. My name is Erica Gwynn, and I'm here to welcome you to the show, as always. Joined with me are two men who would have no problem figuring out who the killer is in a slasher situation. We have Daniel Gwynn.
Hey!
And Matt Stein.
I was waiting for you to say something mean that was too nice. Saying that I would have the ability to figure out who the murderer is before I'm the one that's murdered.
Well, I didn't say that, but I'm just saying you would have figured it out while they're chopping your head off.
Yeah, as I was getting murdered.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, there we go. Thanks. There it is.
It still counts.
Yeah, I'm so good to see you're here.
Always. As always, before we get into the episode, we have some info to give to you. You can find Monster Madness on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, as well as all other obscure social media platforms. We are also on Twitch. We've been really into that lately and love interacting with all of you when we play games. Especially Matt, when he plays Titanic.
Come chat to him.
Well, by the time this comes out, I'll be done with it.
True, but who knows? You could be into the second Titanic game that I found.
There's like 5 of them.
Okay, I didn't know there was that many.
Well, which one did you find?
Honor and Glory? While he's Googling, there are also a few ways you can support our show if you feel so inclined, so Matt can fuel his Titanic game habit. For the cost of nothing except a few minutes of your time, you can head on over to Apple Podcasts and give the show a rating and review. That helps other people find the show and it is greatly appreciated by us. You can also buy merch on tpublic.com or become a Patreon. So without further ado, on this episode, we are talking Matt's favorite movie, 1983's Sleepaway Camp.
Fucker, you're gonna kill me! Well, get the hell over here and help me down. Come on, kid. Get me down, I'll make you a nice ice cream sundae, okay? Hey, what the hell are you doing? Hell, you little shit! When you get down from here, I'm gonna rip your fucking head off! Man! Help, man!
How dare you just lie to our fans?
I'm sorry to the nation of Turkey. Okay, so this film was released on November 18th, 1983. It is rated R and has a runtime of 84 minutes. It stars Felissa Rose, Jonathan Tiersten, Karen Fields, Christopher Collette, and a bunch of other kids. Don't really need to digress. Jonathan Taylor Thomas wasn't even born when this movie came out, probably.
That's just the name I thought.
Maybe. He fell off the face of the earth.
80s, 83.
83.
JTT. He was 2 years old when this came out.
Ayo. So, some taglines for the film.
Oh.
You will go there in a bus and come home in a box.
Did they go on a bus?
Yeah, they went to camp.
Yeah.
I thought their parents dropped them off.
No, they were on a bus.
Yeah. ...
You won't be coming home. Sleepaway Camp has never been so scary. Can you have a tagline with the name of the movie in the fucking tagline? That doesn't...
Obviously. It happened.
Titanic is Titanic.
You'll never see the end coming. Get it?
I got it.
Because okay.
It just wasn't fun. Just wasn't funny, man. A nice place for summer vacation. A perfect place to die. A perfect place to meet young girls. Might just be the perfect place to die. Carrie meets Friday the 13th. Nah.
Perfect place to meet young girls? I don't think so.
Well, I mean, every dude in that movie was trying to lay pipe. Even Mel, the old guy.
Yeah, the one guy's like a pedophile, though.
Yeah, but he got his comeuppance. I think that's all I have. Dan, do you want to tell us about Sleepaway Camp?
They all die. That's it.
All right, shit, man.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Monster Madness.
All right. Yeah, so this movie starts off in, like you said, 1975. John Baker.
Wait, T for timeout. Does it start in 1975?
That's what you said.
I said 1983.
That's when it was done, but the movie's taking place in 1975.
Really?
Yes.
Where the fuck was I?
Yeah, the first scene when it starts is
With the
70.
boat. The boat scene.
Oh, shit. Sorry. Continue. My bad.
You
I
forgot
forgot.
the first scene?
I already forgot that. Yeah.
I mean, it does start with the music playing, and they show, like, the fast, of all the caution tape and the
And I bet
blood.
at no time ever in that did they pop up that it was 1975 on the screen.
So, like I was saying, this movie starts off in 1975. John Baker takes his children, Angela and Peter, on a boating trip near Camp. How do you say the name? Arawak?
Oh, I have no idea. I didn't even remember. I
I'm
forgot.
looking. I think it's Arawak.
Arawak?
Yeah.
So Camp Arawak.
I like how you can easily say like Camp Akanikin, but like you're just looking at the.
I worked at it, and I went to it like 12 times.
I can't wait for you to visit, so I'm going to make you try and say all the city names before I tell you what they really are.
Oshkosh.
Oh,
I-
Ushkush.
That's not even a hard one.
No, I know.
Anyways.
Anyway, Angela and Peter prank their father by capsizing their little sailboat. While that's going on, they think they're going to swim ashore, but Mary Ann, who is a camp counselor, recklessly drives another boat into their boat and kills the father and one of the children.
Oh my god. All right. Already. Can we give the Oscar to the girl who was on the little ski, just fucking screaming her head off the entire time?
She was doing pretty good with this.
You gotta help them. You gotta help them. Just like screaming and screaming and screaming.
Well, she was probably like, I'm going to be in this horror story. And they're like, cut, you're done. Fired. That's it.
One thing I have a fascination with when it comes to these movies is, do they intentionally act that bad on purpose, do you think?
No, I think that little girl thought she was doing her best.
Mm-hmm.
The little girl, I'll give her that one. But like
the little boat where they're like flirting on the boat and like trying to jump from seat to seat. Like, let me drive. Oh, you drive.
Okay.
Let me drive.
You can drive.
Okay, you can drive.
Yeah, it was just, it's painful.
Yeah.
And then you had the dad's lover.
That's what I was wondering. Spoiler alert.
alert.
Did they ever mention that? Like, I read that when I was writing the notes, but
Daniel, there was a scene where they're laying in bed together.
I missed that part.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I missed that. It was 1975, so moving on.
Okay.
But as soon as his lover's face gets chopped off by a propeller, he's just like, John, and then it cuts to him just like floating. And my favorite part of the dad floating face down the water is if you look hard enough, his feet are together, but you can see his toes going so quickly to try.
He's trying to tread water.
Yeah, trying to move. It's my favorite.
I don't want to drown.
That sent me. I was
I'm
roaring.
going to have to go watch that.
Yeah, it's worth it just to watch the first beginning
That'd probably
sequence.
be you too if you were trying to pull
Well,
it
if
off.
I was an actor,
Yeah.
I'd be like, why don't you just like tie like a string to me or
It'd
something
just be your
and pull me?
your two big toes.
Seriously, it was just
moving.
like it's great. It's so good. It's delicious. But yeah, and then what the fuck?
The life jacket?
Yeah, the life jacket pops up and one of them's completely mangled.
Yeah, well, they don't really show that. It's just all red and chopped up.
Well, yeah, that indicates to me that kid got chopped up.
Kid's dead.
Yeah.
But they don't tell you which kid dies.
Dun-dun-dun.
Dun-dun-dun. So, fast forward 8 years later, Angela now lives with her aunt, Dr. Martha Thomas,
Oh my god.
and Martha's son, Ricky.
This bitch. Now, I'm sorry to interrupt you again, but I have like only a handful of things to say about this film, and she's one of them. Do you think that the aunt, the way she spoke and the way she acted, that was directives to be that fucking weird? Because she's like, oh, here, I packed you snacks. Or did I? Like, and she kept turning her head and putting her hand on her face. I was like, is that like a choice as an
You
actor?
find out in the end, she's pretty fucked up as a human
Yeah,
being.
no, she is super
Yeah.
fucked up. She is the true villain of the whole fucking movie. But spoiler alert, it's just weird. She's just really weird, but it's just unexplainably weird. Like you can have bad things happen to you and they make you quirky.
Well, they don't tell you what she's a doctor of.
Fucking nothing. She's nuts. There's no way I would go if I went into a doctor's office in any fashion, whether it's like family medicine or, psychology or whatever. And if that bitch was just like, you seem to have a lot of emotional problems. Or do you? Like, I'd be like, get me the fuck out of here right now.
Or are you okay?
Yeah, like, just get me the
Da-na-na.
fuck out of here. But continue. She's just weird, and I want to know if the director was just like, I need you to talk like this because you're
So-
supposed to be, like, emotionally disturbed.
So, like all perfect mothers, she sends her kids off to summer camp. Ricky has already attended this camp,
Mm-hmm.
so it's his second time back. Or maybe more.
Or is it?
Or is it?
God damn it, you guys.
It's going to be a whole bit.
Mm-hmm. That's fine. I'm sure I've done it once or twice to you.
So, Martha sends Angela to Camp Arawak for the first time, along with Ricky. Angela, who is an introvert by nature, seems to be a target for bullying, especially by her bunkmate, Judy,
Oh.
and the counselor, Meg.
Okay, I have things to say.
Yeah, what would you do to little tits over there? That's like all
Who's
she was.
little tits?
Isn't that the one that's the bully? one
No,
where,
they
like,
make
he's
fun
like-
of her because she's flat-chested.
No, the other one where it's like she's talking to the older boys. And
I gotta be
she's like-
honest. I thought you were calling me little tits for a second. I was about to hit you.
No.
I was like, you're really gonna get a fight right now? No, I'm
isn't
just
her
kidding.
name
Meg Judy?
Yeah, I think it's the one that he talks to right away. Ricky talks to her. He's like he's trying to wave to
Yeah,
her.
that's Judy.
Yeah, he's like oh yeah, I said the wrong name then. My bad.
No, you said the right name, but she.
Yeah, Judy was like it just seems like they went away and she came back with like it's at that age where like she comes back with tits. Now she just wants to talk to the older guys and she turns around like I ain't talking to you, fool.
Yeah, I didn't make out with you all last summer. But here's my thing. I like to consider myself an introvert. I'm not really big on,
Yeah, but are you gonna stare at the chick like while she's sitting on her bed for 5
Daniel,
minutes?
Hold on.
Because that was creepy.
Well, you have to understand, not only is Angela described as an introvert, but she's also a kid who went through a very horrible trauma, very young.
Of course.
So, and the fact that she seems to be forced to be going to this camp, she doesn't want to go because all of a sudden she's going to this camp. Why hasn't she gone there the last 8 years? And I also want to know who her mom is, but I digress. I think she's just socially awkward. She's not around people often, so she's staring at these girls who are developing, and she doesn't realize that she's staring. But my thing is, like I said, I like to consider myself an introvert, but if someone harassed me the way that,
Like throw you in the lake?
yeah, I would not go quietly into the night.
Are you gonna murder some people?
No,
or are
I'm
you just
not-
gonna like put the pillowcase over their head and beat them with a bar of soap.
I mean, it's somewhere.
Aren't you supposed to put the bar of soap in the pillowcase and then beat them
No,
with
you're
that?
supposed to put the bar of soap in your sock.
Yeah,
Oh,
dummy. Or nickels. Or quarters,
Right.
rather.
alright.
Okay, so story time, Matt, because you got me riled today, unintentionally.
What
When
did you do?
When you were at the bank. I
Oh
wasn't
my
even
God.
there.
I was so fucking
Oh.
irate.
With that lady with her astronaut fucking coat?
Let me just okay.
It looked like a tinfoil jacket.
This isn't my story, but I'm going to tell a portion of it. No, you know what, Matt? You tell us what happened, and I will tell you in an appropriate reaction. We're going to shame this bitch.
And that's fine. I called her a lot of names behind her back. I had to stop at the bank to deposit cash, which is the reason I went to the bank. I don't want anyone to be like, why don't you just use your phone? I pull into an empty stall, and as I'm pulling up, this fucking little old lady.
Wait, hold on. One star review. Who the fuck goes to the bank for cash, bitch?
That's, yeah, you know what? I can't even give
Cash
ravioli
boy.
recipes without getting made fun of, so who knows? Next
Now
one's
you're-
cash.
It's from selling all those recipes.
Now you're cash boy.
Yeah, whatever. Anyways, I'm pulling into the stall, and this fucking old lady walks out and just looks at me and puts up the finger to tell me to wait, and then walks up to the terminal. And I just like back up a little bit, and I just kind of stare at her, very dumbfounded.
This is a drive-through.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a drive-through
That's in
bank.
a car.
Yes, I did. Okay, so as I was driving in, so it's like this weird parking lot next to a Walgreens, but there's like a road. And I was driving up the road to make the turn to get to the bank. If you're listening, I'm making hand gestures that mean only things to Dan and Erica. Anyways, there was a car fucking parked in the road, just like pulled off to the side on the other side of like one of those small grass medians from a parking spot. Okay. So I'm like, who is this fucking shitbird? Okay. Drive around. Old lady walks out in front of me, and I just fucking sit there. And then eventually I realized that that's like her husband. She got out of the fucking car and walked all the way over to go through a stall instead of driving through. And this is what stopped me from,
So, Matt, what did you just sit? Did you just smile at her and nod and just allow her to do
To be
this?
perfectly honest, I'm imagining this was the face.
Hands up in the air.
Well,
eyebrows.
I was like, fucking, I don't know. And then eventually I just kind of like backed up and took a picture of her and sent it to you guys.
See,
You should have just kept inching closer and closer and closer to her.
I'm curious. Okay, listeners, I don't ask for much except reviews and money sometimes, but I really want to hear what you have to say about this. Like, so much so I'm making this the clip of the week. What would you do in that situation? Because I know as
For a
someone
Klondike bar.
let me describe this woman a little bit. She has short white hair.
Mhm.
She probably
Tinfoil jacket.
She was wearing tight black pants, potentially yoga pants, because I couldn't get over the fact that she was wearing a puffy silver jacket and looked like an asshole.
yeah.
She acted like an asshole too.
Mhm.
This lady's an asshole.
Mm-hmm. She's what we like to call a Karen.
Okay.
But
She's
so
Nightbot?
don't come at my Nightbot. So I don't know if it's maybe because I'm from the East Coast or specifically from
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia, yes. And my Philadelphia brethren can attest to this, that we have what we like to call hotheads. I told Matt that he should have laid on his horn for the duration of her transaction, so she couldn't even hear. Like, if she had to talk to someone, she couldn't even fucking hear them. And then when she gets all Karen-y, I would have been like, get in your car, bitch. And then I would have just slowly inched forward. That's how I would have rolled. And just even thinking about being put in this situation gets my blood pressure up a little bit. Because my fingers would have been going. And if you can't see right now, but I'm circular motioning 2 middle fingers. Yeah, it's finger guns all over here. I also would have rolled down my window. I would have not been nice, but I guess as a Midwestern, you're just like,
It's
"Oop,
not that.
fucking sorry."
It's not that. It's more so the fact, like, there were other people, and I know Eric doesn't give a shit about that.
No.
I really didn't want to like get up to the window and them to be like, yeah, no, we're not going to help you. You go now. And then I got to go to a different fucking branch of the
You have to
the
talk
bank,
to the
whatever.
people still?
Yeah,
Well, if
they
he's
have to send me a deposit slip because I don't just keep
Oh.
those things. And then I fucking send
Ours
her
is
the
like-
cash.
Okay.
Hold on. Yeah, Daniel, they're not your mother who has a stockpile of those.
No, I'm just saying, like, they have electronic stuff now where we
I
go.
don't trust that shit.
Okay.
See, man.
I mean, I literally just said, please deposit into checking. And then they say a bunch of stuff, and I say no.
Oh, okay.
And then I leave. Like,
there it is.
only because no one takes cash, and I don't leave my house a whole lot. And Ken gave me a bunch of cash for all the band shit.
Yeah. So yeah, listeners, I'm just curious as to what you would have done. Am I extreme? Is Matt too underwhelming in his reaction?
You're
A
also
little Timmy
pregnant,
Puss Puss?
too.
Little Tammy Puss Puss? No, I would never call you that. I think you're probably more level-headed than myself. But even Daniel made a comment that it's because I'm pregnant as well, and I'm not going to.
You got the pregnancy rage some days.
I'm not going to deny that I don't want to literally just
Kill me.
There's that, but run through a wall, and just that's how enraged I am about just like the most minute things. But that's how I am.
Like if you cut her off in the kitchen.
Oh my god.
So, okay, real quick. I don't feel like, I'm not saying like what this lady did was cool or smart by any means, but no one at the bank brought it up. Like they weren't like, oh shit, sorry, that was really fucking weird. So that made it a little worse. But I also feel like if you are that big of an asshole that you fucking walk up to a drive up, then tell me to stop in a vehicle because you've walked up when I'm driving up in a drive through, whatever you want to call it. I don't need to yell at that lady because a lot of other people already have, and a lot of other people will continue to.
But have they though? If she continues to do such behavior, I doubt it. I think
someone had to say something. I don't feel like this lady is this inept to the fact that she's a fucking asshole.
Could have been the husband the whole time. He could have been like, I'm not driving up there.
True.
Whose side are you on?
You go walk.
Shut up. If that's the truth, then I can't continue to complain about Karen.
She's crying as she walks up.
Karen.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Move on.
All right.
But what I don't have. I have what my point was. I have a very low tolerance for people. And Daniel brought up about getting cut off in the kitchen. He loves to do this thing where if he senses me going to a certain direction, whether I have to get a spoon or a cup or go in the fridge, he walks right the fuck in front of me. Perfect example. And then we'll continue on. Tonight, I work during dinner hours usually.
Early night shift, we call it.
Yeah, it's a weird shift. But
1.5?
What?
It's 1.5 shift?
Basically.
Not first, not second?
Yeah, it's like right smack in the middle. So, like, when I go to make dinner, because I work from home, I have to kind of do it in, like, a quick process, or I'll start it, and Daniel will finish it for me, yada, yada, yada. And there was a plate with a knife on it, so I moved it to the sink because it was dirty, because I figured Daniel had already eaten. And I turn around to go grab something. I turn back around, and it's back on the stovetop. And I'm like, I thought I did this, but I thought maybe pregnancy brain kicked in, and I didn't do it. Like, I didn't move it. And I go to move it back to the sink, and he's like, will you stop? Like, I'm using that. I'm like, why are you putting it on the motherfucking stovetop when you see that I need this
it's going
area?
in the microwave, which is above the stove.
Like, I have a pot, and I have my pasta sauce that I'm just trying to heat up because I want my spaghetti. And I, like, literally just, like, pregnancy raged, and I was just like, fine, you fucking heat it up. And I walked away, stormed away.
Seems like a logical response.
And then I ate 2 very large plates of pasta.
If she would have asked me just to make her pasta, I would have done.
But yeah, what I'm saying is I have a low tolerance. And so if I had to deal with a Meg and Judy at camp, I would not do it. I don't take things
She
lying
would have
down.
pissed on her toothbrush. Next scene, we meet the cook, more of the pedophile type. The cook, Artie, attempts to molest Angela, but Ricky catches him, and then Ricky and Angela run away. Later, an unseen figure causes Artie to knock over a pot of boiling water and scalds himself. The camp owner, Mel, calls it an incident, but we don't know.
Yeah, that was a pretty gruesome.
Well, he had it coming to him. I mean,
No, for sure he had it coming to him. But what also, if he was trying to be sly about anything that he was doing, he kept trying to loop his belt for like 10 minutes afterwards. So like, if you're trying to get away with like doing that to kids, why are you just like fixing yourself up in front of all the adults. They're not gonna know what I'm doing.
I think they're all freaking pedophiles.
No, I think they're like it seemed like the guys that were like in their mid-30s or like late 20s seemed to genuinely like care about their job as camp counselors. But then there was like that grime bucket.
I think like the whole group of chefs were like fucked up when he initially was like, you see those kids over there? They're young. Like that's disgusting.
Well, yeah, no, for sure it's disgusting.
And they're all just like just staring at him like, I'd be like, this guy cannot work here.
Well, that's why one of them got the one Mel tries to fuck an 18-year-old. It's all weird, but the pedophile guy gets a whole pot of boiling water on top of him, and he screams for a solid 5 minutes straight.
Mm-hmm.
He would have passed out if he was in that much pain, though. Because they say that they even make the note of like, I don't have a painkiller strong enough to ease his pain right now. I'm like, he would have passed out if it was that bad. The body shuts down at a certain point. It doesn't just sit there and scream and scream and scream. You shut down to save yourself. But that's just, whatever. But yeah, pedophile gets all burned.
Yep.
Though I think he could have gotten out of that situation without falling into a giant pot of water.
Well, maybe he was just caught off guard.
He's like holding on to a shelf and he's standing on a chair and he's very stable. And all they're doing is like pulling the chair out. I would have just like donkey kicked them and been like, what the fuck are you doing, kid? And kicked him. And he could have easily done that, but he was like so panicked.
So next, when campers Kenny and Mike mock Angela, Ricky and his friends Paul decide to fight them.
Mm-hmm.
Paul befriends Angela. When Kenny drowns, his death is ruled an accident at Mel's instance, although Ronnie and the police officer Frank express doubt.
Oh yeah, he was all gruesome. I will say one thing about this movie, even if you're not like a huge fan of it due to XYZ reasons, the practical effects were really good. Like the boils and like the burns were really good. This boy's body it had like a snake coming through his mouth and like nostril and shit. And it was all decomposed and gross and rotting. That was really good. And yeah, I was impressed.
Yeah, that was a good scene. Paul asks Angela to attend a film with him. After campers Billy and Mike throw water balloons at Angela, Billy is stung to death when someone traps him in the bathroom stall and drops a beehive in it. Mel then finally suspects that a killer is on the campgrounds.
I think all of these deaths could have been easily avoided. The one in the canoe was a little weird. I mean, that's kind of scary. You're in a canoe at night. Someone starts to drown you. I can see that one. But if someone tossed a beehive at me, I would have just jumped out the window.
But what if you're allergic?
Well,
you're still going to get stung by a few
I think
of
if
them.
you're at a camp and you're allergic to bees, that's really just not smart on your parents' part.
Oh,
they want you to die.
That's like the biggest fucked up just because you're allergic to bees doesn't mean you're gonna go to summer camp.
I mean, if you're that allergic.
Well, that's why they have EpiPens.
I don't think they had those in 1983, Daniel.
Yeah, they did.
Okay, CDC over here.
Okay, EpiPen was invented in the 70s.
See,
first approved for marketing by the FDA in 87.
Haha, bitch, I win.
Maybe he had a bag of Benadryl. I don't know.
He had a beta EpiPen.
Yeah, that too. But if our kid ever wants to go to summer camp, she's going to go to summer camp.
I'm not saying that she can't go to summer camp here, Papa Gwyn. All I'm saying is if I'm taking a shit in a bathroom stall and I can't get out from the front and someone drops a beehive at me from behind, clearly I can get out from behind. So I would get out and run and probably jump in water or something if I'm getting swarmed.
But what happens if you're taking a shit and you're like, oh, you got the danglies going on. You got to pull up your pants. You got to do all that.
Fucking deal with dirty drawers later.
Yeah.
You're either going to die be in a lot of discomfort or just have shit in your pants.
Exactly. I would probably, well, he was like butt ass naked. I don't take my shirt off when I shit. So
You just don't know what you're missing.
Fun fact. So
I don't either.
Completely undressed. That's what I thought you were getting at.
I went to high school with a guy that did that.
Going to the bathroom is easy, Oscar. It's getting my tie back on.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby get ourselves a treat.
Yeah, it's just, I feel like he could have got out of that. But I digress.
But, okay, just real quick question. In
Yeah.
all of the movies that we have watched in our lifetime that are horror movies, how many times has there been a situation where someone could have probably pretty easily gotten out of a situation and they just didn't?
Well, here's my thing with that. In every horror movie that I've ever seen, in every single one, sans like supernatural beings attacking, my solution is to just run until I cannot run anymore.
Which will be 10 minutes.
Because oh my God.
I feel like there's some deep-seated something or other that happened that this joke is coming from.
Did you not hear his peanut gallery comment?
Yeah, you'd be able to run for 10 minutes.
Well, here's
more
the
than
thing.
I could run for.
Adrenaline would be pumping, but I think of like a movie where there's real life like they could actually happen. So like this isn't a supernatural being whatsoever. This is a person just killing other camp kids. But like you take a movie like The Strangers or something where they're in the middle of nowhere and this family is attacking this couple. I literally would have taken my chances in the fucking woods and just ran and ran and ran and ran. Because guess what? They're not going to do that. They're not going to risk it.
That's a good point. Eventually, they're going to just give up.
Exactly. It's not like Jason's chasing me. It's not like this fake, like supernatural being that I cannot stop, or like a Michael Myers if you go with that storyline, or like a Freddy where I'm like, I have to stay awake. If it's like a real life person, my solution is always to just run.
And I'll just be left like, where'd you go?
Someone's got to be the sacrificial lamb.
Guess I got to save the kid by myself.
Now, if I'm in a bad situation, the kid's coming with me, but...
So I'm just left there to die.
No, you're carrying the kid because I can't run that 10 minutes if I'm carrying the kid.
Now it's 5.
Now it's 2. It drastically goes down. She's heavy.
Don't doubt it.
And she would think it's a game.
She's like a 50-pounder now.
She's not 50 pounds. They're going to think we have an obese child.
This kid's almost pushing 4 feet.
She is pretty tall.
Giant.
That's a foot shorter than me. She is not a foot shorter than me. She's like 3 feet tall.
It's like above my belly button. She's getting tall.
Doctors do say that you have an abnormally low belly button.
Actually,
I told you not to bring that up, Matt.
They do say she's actually very big for her age. She's in the 97th percentile for height. Anyway.
Fucking humble brag over here.
She's very tall. Very long.
Okay, this is Monster Madness, not Erica and Dan Kid Madness.
Well, I beg to differ.
What?
I got kidding me right now.
Well, there's that.
What was that?
I did it.
His mouth rim shot.
Did we ever? And then we'll go back to it. But when we told his parents that we were having a baby, Evelyn from the bathtub, because his mom FaceTimed while Evelyn was in the bathtub. She's like, "Daddy did it."
Oh man.
I was like, all right. Kid barely says sentences, but she got that out.
Angela and Paul's relationship is strained when Paul kisses her. Angela has a flashback to when she and her siblings witnessed her father in bed with Lenny. Angela recoils from Paul's advances and runs away. Judy seduces Paul, and Angela finds them kissing. Paul attempts to explain himself to Angela at the lake, but Judy and Meg shoo him away and throw Angela into the water. After Ricky rescues Angela for like the umpteenth time, children fling sand at them. Ricky confronts Angela and swears revenge on her aggressors.
Yeah, what the wiki isn't saying is that Mel, the owner of the camp, is super suspicious of Angela's cousin Ricky. Like he thinks that he's the one behind all the murders, but isn't doing really much anything.
Well, he
about
tries
it.
grabbing him, I think, right?
Yeah, he because Ricky goes to, because he's definitely Angela's like champion.
Yeah,
He's
like, you're not gonna save her this time.
Yeah, and which I find really like strange. It's because like they know that Angela has had trauma. They know that she's afraid of water for obvious reasons. I would not be a big fan of water either if like a large chunk of my family died in it. It's very strange to me that he would be that hostile to a child, first of all. Not my ideal head of a camp.
Yeah, he's not the best camp leader.
Now, did you ever meet like the president of the camp that you worked at?
Yeah.
Were they friendly?
Yeah,
approachable.
Yeah, we had like a barbecue at like the house that was next to the camp, which was his.
I'm just curious because like you're the only one that has like real experience with a camp.
It's very like I wouldn't say, like they try to make it like one big family. At least the one I was at, where like you can come to us, you can talk about your problems, like this type of stuff. Like, but then there's also different groups. So like this group did that. This group like was the pool group. This group was adventure. This group was like, geology. Like, there's all the different whatever the heck the camp was about. Like there's all these different groups, and each group had a figurehead. But if like say shit was going crazy like this, you could approach like the camp leader.
Well, I would hope if there was like a bunch of murders around, they'd be like, "Hey guys, can we talk about this?"
No, I don't think there's ever been that. I don't know if there's ever. I don't know.
You don't think there's been a murder at Alkemi?
I don't know. I'd have to look it up. I
would
know
know.
people have gotten hurt. Like there's a gun range
Your
and
father?
an archery range. So like I bet that somebody's probably been shot with something.
Your father.
Oh, when he fell. This is like by the river, and then like at the river there's like all these steep mountainous terrain.
Lots of rocks.
The archery and rifle range is at the bottom of the mountain. So all the camp and everything is at the top. You got to hike all the way down to get to the bottom. Well, it rained the night before, and my dad was like, "I'm going to go meet my brother at the bottom," because I guess he had a shotgun, or something. And he fell.
Meet your brother.
Yeah, my brother.
Yeah.
And I was a counselor at the time, so I was just working.
No, you weren't. No, Daniel, we were engaged at the time.
Were we engaged at the
Yeah,
time?
because
this was after the fact.
He refused.
He fell the week that I worked there too.
Oh.
Yeah, it rained the night before, and it's all rocks, and you got to follow like the little steep trail all the way down. Well, he fell from the top and just kept rolling and rolling and rolling and rolling and rolling.
Well, if it's the same time that you're talking about that I was
He's
around.
fallen a lot in our lives.
He has.
Down the steps, which
At the
cracks my
bar.
mother up. At the bar, fell over the railing.
Oh God. But yeah, he
bunch
had
of
a
times.
bruise from like the bottom of his neck all the way down to his ankle.
Yeah,
And it was like black, blue, yellow. It was
it was disgusting.
it was the worst. And he
Yeah.
kept showing it to me. He's like, "How's my ass
Yeah.
look?" I'm like, "I don't care."
Yeah, they also have like extreme mountain biking, and he thought it would be fun to like father-son bond with me and do that. And same thing. It starts at the top. You go all the way down the bottom through this huge trail, and then you got to like go all the way up, and going up takes fucking forever. And like midway, you go through this creek. And everybody's going through the creek fine. It's only like 6 inches of water at the section, and you go right through it. My dad wiped out so hard. Like, he moved the rocks that were in the water.
Oh Jesus.
And somehow
The
the bike
boulders.
was fine. But he laid there for like a good solid 2 minutes. And
Wow.
Well, yeah, I would too. My favorite, and then we'll continue. Your dad falling is we were at this bar that we would take you to if you came here. It's called Steam.
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 It's on a train.
Yeah, it's in
Like
it's actually in built in an old train car in Southampton and Southampton, PA.
Part of it. They
Part of it,
extended on.
yeah. And so when you walk in, it's the bar to the left. It's not very like wide, but it's long. There's the bar to the left. There's about like I'd say like a 6 to 8 foot section in the center where there's like tabletops and all
And they
that
have
stuff.
these raised booths.
Yeah, and like there's a raised lip, and then there's like some other private tables. We were on the raised lip having dinner, and we all were in front of Chris because he had paid the bill. That's his dad. And I turned around because I always just like double check to make sure like we all grabbed our food, we all grabbed our jackets and bags and stuff. And I'm like, "Where's Chris?" And I was like, maybe he went to the bathroom or something. And we all walk outside and we're like, "Where is he?" And he comes like limping like down the steps, and we're like, "What the hell happened to you?" He's like, "Guys, I fucking fell and nobody came to help me." Everybody just looked at me. Because like you have to go down like a huge flight of steps too to get out of this place.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
Falls a lot.
He does fall a lot. He should probably get his inner ear checked or something. Continue on with your synopsis.
Oh, so finally, Meg is stabbed to death in the shower while getting ready to meet Mel.
Had it coming.
At the camp social, Paul apologizes to Angela and she asks him to meet her at the waterfront later. Mel finds Meg's body and is convinced that Ricky is the killer. The children who threw sand at Angela and Ricky are camping in the woods with their counselor Eddie when the two of them ask him to take them back to the main camp. He returns to find the four remaining children hacked to death with this hatchet.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they're dead.
She even killed the little kids.
Yeah, because she's on a killing spree.
I mean, they.
I mean, who is it?
Who is it?
Or did it happen?
He gets my Office reference.
I was going back to the mother.
Oh, I was going back to the Office because that's where I always go to. Who is it?
Back at the camp,
It's
the
Michael
killer
Scott.
enters Judy's cabin and murders her, raping her with a hot curling iron.
Does it really say raping her?
Yes, it does. She stuck the curling iron up there.
Now,
And
I'm
smothering with a pillow.
a pillar. Oh, well, yeah, I guess because my next question was, would that kill someone?
That burned in your insides for sure.
Yeah, I don't know if it would kill you though.
Yeah, I didn't really factor in the smothering.
Well, I think that probably made her, in shock, and then she smothered her to death. At this point, the camp is thrown into a panic. They're thinking that Ricky is the killer. Mel beats him mercifully. Yeah, so Mel beats him,
You just cut the word out completely.
only to be shot in the throat with an arrow by the real killer. Frank is called and searches with the counselors for the missing campers. Paul is at the beach with Angela, who suggests they go skinny dipping. Frank discovers Ricky unconscious but alive. Ronnie and Susie find Angela sitting on the beach and humming with Paul, whose head appears to be resting on her lap as she strokes his hair. A flashback shows Aunt Martha welcoming the survivor of the boat accident into her home. It reveals that the real Angela is the child who died in the accident, finding out that it was Peter. You then find out that Martha reasoned, that she already had a son and wanted a little girl. So she raised Peter as Angela instead. Now, boom, back into the present. Angela leaps to her feet, holding a hunting knife, allowing Paul's severed head to fall to the ground. Shocking, Ronnie exclaimed, "How can it be? My God, she's a boy!" And then you find out that dangling down below is her genitalia. And you find out that she's a male all along.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit of a twist the first time I saw this movie. I was like, what? She's also making some weird noises when she does all this too. Yeah, like a little hissing thing. I was like,
And
"Gosh,
then
yeah,
if you pay attention, if you listen carefully, she's saying the name. She's saying Angela. She's saying Angela.
it'd be, I'm Peter.
But okay,
Maybe
so
she was saying something like that.
when
don't know.
I saw this movie, I thought it was like I didn't hate it at all. But when I first watched it, I was like, okay, we're at a camp again. People are dying, yada, yada, yada. Same old, blah, blah, blah. And then that ending happened
And shocker.
because I had no clue whatsoever that the twist was that the aunt is a psychopath and literally mentally abused this child to the point where it was just like, you're a girl, you're a girl. You're a girl.
Do you think she put it in her head that she was going to be the murderer this whole time? Like, you're going to go to this camp, you're going to kill all these people.
No, I think that Peter, who we know as Angela, literally had a mental break.
Couldn't cope with it.
Could you imagine that? Like if
I mean, how old do you think she was when they did that? She forced her to do that transition.
she probably did it well, obviously immediately. So she was probably around like 6 or 7.
So you would remember that definitely.
Not only would you remember the fact that you are not a female, all you simply have to do is undress to realize that in like this scenario, because it's very confusing when you're like, well, I was this, what? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Someone looks at you and you're like, well, I already have a son. Like, what would you do? Like, if someone was just like, I already have a son, so Matt, are you the younger or the older of you and your brother?
Younger.
So what if by when you were 7, your parents turned to you and you're like, well, we already had the one boy. You're now Megan.
Could be Martha.
Martha? Where'd you learn that name?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't know how I would handle it.
Now that you know the ending and you watch the movie for a second time, do you think they hint at it the whole time and you're like...
For sure. If you pay attention in the first scene when the accident happens, you see that the boy is alive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I always thought too, like they never really show her. Everybody's in like bathing suits and stuff because it's a lake. They never really like were like, all right, you know.
Well, she refused.
Yeah.
Because the aunt told her like you can't do that.
Mm-hmm. And they try to get her not to shower and stuff like that.
Well, no, she showers just privately.
Yeah.
Because she knows that
It's
like
different.
she's Peter.
It's different.
Yeah.
She knows that she's Peter, but she has to hide it. But see, that's the thing. I've said this once, I'll say it again. You can't do anything to me because I'll sing like a fucking canary. So like the second I would have gotten to see anybody, I'd be like, this crazy bitch aunt of mine is trying to make me a fucking boy. Like she keeps telling me my name is Eric, but it's not.
Yeah, like you think the next, like, don't they have family Christmases or something? Like,
Well, I'm assuming. Well, that was my other question.
like where's the rest of the family?
There's that, but where is their mother? Like, where was Peter and Angela's mother? They never really disclosed, like, oh, you know, she had passed away, or there was a really ugly divorce, or she abandoned them. Blah, blah, blah. They never touch on that whatsoever.
What happened to Lenny? Wasn't he like the other father?
Here's the thing. I don't think that was like an open relationship. Like, when I say open, I mean like I don't think they were out in the open. People just thought that they were friends.
So you think like these were his biological kids, and then like.
Yeah, the guy who's in the
Lenny just came
water.
along?
Yeah, the guy who's in the water, it was his biological children.
Okay.
And then Lenny, I think that's his name, was his lover, but it was more so like a secretive type thing because when you do the flashback and you see them laying in bed together, there's this weird montage of Angela and Peter before the accident sitting in bed, and Peter is just putting his finger out to like just touch Angela like on her chest. It seems very innocent, but because they see their father and his lover doing that, and his boyfriend or what they considered him, or what he considered him rather. Yeah, it was a weird montage that like I actually don't really understand what they were trying to convey with that. There's actually a documentary I want to watch that I just found out about right before we recorded this.
About this movie?
Yeah, it's called Angela, the like
Is this a real story?
unofficial documentary.
That came out fairly recently, right?
I'm actually not sure. I just saw like the fact that Felissa Rose was in it, and like a bunch of the older other actors rather. So I wanted to check that out to get kind of.
How did they do that last scene? I mean, obviously it was somebody else, right?
So the last scene was accomplished by they had Felissa Rose. They did a shot of her from the probably the top of her shoulders up. They doused her with blood on her neck and stuff like that, and like what have you from decapitating Paul. And they did that shot, and then when they did the full shot of her body, they had a mask made of her face and put it on a man's body. And obviously shadowed it a little bit so you couldn't fully see, but you could definitely tell that it was male genitalia. When I saw this movie for the first time, it's very, very, very rare that I get a jaw drop moment. And when I saw that
definitely put me in for a loop.
Because I wasn't
did not expect
expecting
that
it.
at all.
I was like, okay. So when I first saw it, I was like, okay, who could be the killer? I thought maybe it was one of the bitchy girls, but then all the people that they kind of were flirting with were dying. So I was like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Then I genuinely thought, I was like, well, maybe it's the aunt because they kind of like put her in there. But then when you see the hands are kind of masculine. I was like, so maybe it is Ricky. And, crazy ass Mel, because Mel beats Ricky up because he kills Meg, who Mel, this like 60-year-old dude, was trying to boff. Gross. It's just like, it's so creepy. And he does not hide it. Like you said earlier with like the pedophile guys, like he does not try to hide it at
No, it's
all.
like they had some creepy pact.
He like struts into the social with his fucking lime green pants, and he's like, "Has anybody seen Meg? She was supposed to meet me an hour ago." And they're like, "No." She was like gonna take a shower because she was supposed to go out to dinner like with you. He's like, "Yeah, we were supposed to hang out." Like that's not fucking weird. Why would nobody be like, no, bro. Like there was this one muscular guy who you could tell was trying to be more muscular to like add to his non-existent
with his
height.
cut off shirts and stuff.
Yeah, to add to his non-existent height. And
Did you see the one guy when they played the baseball and he had the same cut off shirt and it wasn't cut off? It was like down to his belt.
oh, that's sad.
Oh.
That's a sad
I
guy.
thought that was fun.
Yeah.
But I remember I couldn't pay attention when that guy spoke because every pair of his pants showed exactly the outline of his dick. Like everything. He wore these like flaming hot red pants and like a sweatshirt, and like all I could see was his teeny weeny.
Yellow polka dot bikini.
I wish people could see your sweet little moves, Matthew.
Nope. I do them because no one can see them except you guys.
True. But if you follow us on Twitch, you can see them sometimes.
You can also watch me poop my pants.
It's the best. But yeah, what do you have to say, Matt? Because I feel like I cut you off a couple times before you started saying stuff.
The only real point that I want to make is like, you wouldn't see this twist coming in a movie that came out now, let alone one that came out in the 80s.
Yeah, it really did touch on like a lot of different topics, like the gay father, like that
was definitely different.
That
for
was an
time
additive.
frame.
Yeah, that was an additive that like you wouldn't. I guess you really wouldn't expect in 1983. Not like it was unheard of, but it
Right.
wasn't. It was just not something that you would just have expected. Which
Wasn't as open as it is now.
oh no, for sure not. I mean, this movie is well over 30 years old. Wait,
Yeah.
it's knocking on 40 almost. Actually, shit.
Don't say that.
Sorry, but it is. It's 38 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you wouldn't expect that from a movie 38 years ago. Wow, that's so crazy to say. But nor like with the I really want to do a little bit more research like on the director's like his idea behind this movie, because like this is really fucked up. Like this is beyond just a slasher film, like because most of those people fucking deserved it. So I'm just saying. I mean, like the kids, like getting knifed in their sleeping bags, that was extreme. Mr. Pedophile getting boiled alive, not extreme. Bitch ass Meg getting stabbed in the back, I can live with that. I can even live with Judy getting friendly with her curling iron in her vag. Mel definitely deserved an arrow to the neck. Paul probably did not deserve to get decapitated. Stupid boy who, you know, did stupid things. Just like you two have probably done.
Did Ronnie die? The guy that was trying to help her the whole time?
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's good.
Nobody who, honestly, in this film, nobody who was like mean to Angela died.
See?
Because she didn't snap that way. It was just like when those people treated her like shit, she was like, you know what? Fuck you. I'm super strong.
That's why you treat people the way you want to be treated.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna put like a little like dun 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 music right there. I was just trying to think in my head. But yeah, so now that we have finished the synopsis, we've gone through the crazy ending of this movie that nobody would have expected. We're gonna do questions of the damned. I actually don't even think I mentioned the director of this film. I think I forgot.
Yeah, I don't think we talked about the budget either.
Okay, so real quick before
He
questions
probably
of the
pissed him
damned.
off.
It was directed and written by Robert Hiltzik.
Hiltzik.
What's the budget, man?
$350,000.
Amazing.
And it made $11 million.
That's a good amount.
Yeah, it made a shit ton back. It is a very popular film. I'm not even gonna put this in the beginning. I'm literally putting it right
that's
before
fine.
questions of the damned, because that's how we roll here. So I don't remember who won last time or what have you, because I don't keep track of those things anymore. But Daniel,
Hmm.
how old was Felissa Rose when she played the main role of Angela? 13, 15, or 18?
15.
13. Okay.
Oh, yeah. All right, Matt. How much? Okay, there really wasn't a lot, so I had to kind of stretch these questions. How much was Felissa Rose paid for this role? 15.
Is it weird that I know this answer?
I mean, you're a horror movie fan. You've actually been in the presence of her. Not that weird. 15, 10, or 5,000?
5,000.
All right, Daniel. When the girls auditioned for the role of Angela, what did the director have them do specifically? Scream as loud as they could, stare wide-eyed with their mouth open, or cry on cue?
I hope it stared wide-eyed with their mouth open.
And his actual in quotes directive was stare blankly off and pretend you're eating a candy bar. That's the fucking face that she decided on. So when she's rocking like a Hershey bar, she's just like
She says her own name when she eats candy bars.
I know I give myself a pep talk every time I have a Twix. I'm like, you
You're
go,
gonna fucking eat the shit out of that.
you go, Erica.
She's so racist.
Yeah, right over there.
Yeah, I was trying to put your favorites all in one.
I heard Reese's. Did you say cheese too?
I said Hershey's and Twix.
Oh, okay. I thought you said cheese, Reese's, and Twix.
Reese's and cheese.
Hershey's and cheese.
That sounds great, actually. Moving on. All right, Matthew.
Peanut butter.
Shut up, Daniel.
Fine.
This film, along with what other, inspired the Weird Al Yankovic song, Nature Trail to Hell, Friday the 13th Part 3, Hansel and Gretel, or Mountaintop Motel Massacre?
What? That last title sounds made up, but I'm gonna go with Friday the 13th. Did you make up that?
No,
movie
none of
name?
those are made up. Mountaintop Motel Massacre. Didn't know about that movie until today. I googled horror movies that came out in
It's a
1983.
band name.
And all three of those came out in 1983. Yeah.
All right.
All right, Daniel.
I lost.
You did. It's okay. The ending scene was accomplished by a young man wearing a mask as he stood nude.
Yep.
Who has the mask now? Felissa Rose, the director, or it was stolen, so the person is unknown.
I'm going to hope it's stolen.
Someone stole it. They have no idea where that latex mask is. Who the fuck would steal that?
Some guy walking around going,
Because like you can't talk about it. You can't be like,
Right.
just like, but and if you do, then people that you worked with, like, whatever.
could have just
Yeah.
left it somewhere. It's in the trash.
True. Well, Matt's the winner for this week. Slow clap for Matt, as per usual. The sheet is just
okay.
getting filled up with Matt, damn, Matt.
It's okay. He has more expanse.
He does.
I dabble.
All right, so now that we are done with questions of the damned, and Matt is our victor yet again. It's getting kind of old, so.
Okay, sorry. Maybe you should make the questions harder.
I do what I can with what I'm given, okay? I actually had 2 bonus questions, but since it was not even nowhere near a tie, I can't use them, but I'll save them if there's ever a sudden death. Moving on.
Ooh, that is a good idea. For future episodes, when we need a sudden death, you should have a pool of bonus questions from every movie that we've covered that season and then just pull from that.
Why haven't you thought of this before?
Matt, that's what I did last time for sudden death.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh boy. This is going great.
Final round.
Welcome to the show.
Finish it.
When we had sudden death, I think it was the first season. I don't think we had it last season. Yeah, it was all bonus questions that I didn't use. I literally took a question from each, and it was like 20 questions, or 10 questions rather.
I mean, that
But
was
yeah.
like a year ago, so
And they've had a lot of beer since then.
I wasn't even gonna say that.
Oh,
I thought it. Never mind.
okay.
I thought it would have been longer ago than it really was, but I didn't want to say that and make it sound like it feels like this has been an eternity with you two.
Oh, it has felt that way.
A good eternity.
A good eternity.
It does feel like it's been a really long time.
It does. And if only the success would follow with that longevity. Anyway, since, we're done with questions of the damned, we're going to go to the final segment of the show, which is yay, nay, or slay. So, Matt, you can go first because I already know how you feel, and you're the diamond in the rough.
I mean, okay. I'm probably going nay, because like I don't like this movie. I don't think it's good, but I get the relevance to horror as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
So like for someone that really wants to just watch a lot of horror movies and like really wants to see, I don't even want to call it a classic.
They consider it a cult classic.
Yeah, unfortunately. But so like there's definitely stuff that give it a good reason to be watched, but I just don't think it's good.
Well, what parts of it for you don't make it good?
The acting,
Well, yeah,
like
that's
the
a big one.
story is mediocre at best, but just the act, like it's just so campy and bad that I just can't get past it.
Would you prefer Madman Mars, or Angela Peter? Would you prefer the whirlpool sex scene of Madman Mars, or the?
Man.
Cause I'm going Angela.
Okay, if I really have to just pick one of the two movies for someone to watch, it would be this one because this is more like groundbreaking and earth-shattering, and like Madman Mars. Madman doesn't really have like a cult following as far as I know.
No,
Like
I
I'm
don't
sure
think...
there's people who, you know what I mean, but it's like it's not like this.
Mm-mm.
So for like relevance of horror history, I'd say Sleepaway Camp. In terms of which killer I would rather deal with or which movie I would rather watch
Or be in.
or be in, ooh man.
That's a good question. Which movie? Every time you hate on a movie, I'm gonna be like, well, which movie would you rather be in?
Okay, probably rather be in this one because me as a human being probably wouldn't have been an ass to Angela.
Well, yeah, because you're not an ass.
Yeah, so I got a better chance of living in this one.
So for me, I'm gonna give it a yay to Matt's chagrin.
Yeah.
Beep.
Hey, everyone is entitled to their own opinion.
And mine is usually right. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. No, I actually genuinely, the second viewing, I liked it better than my first viewing. My first viewing was just pure shock when I watched it because I legitimately had no idea who the killer was, because it's not like Friday the 13th where, the first one where you always know it's at this point, it's Mrs. Voorhees, or subsequently in the sequels, it's Jason. This was a complete like cloak and dagger where I had no clue what the fuck this ending was going to be. And it ends so abruptly with no real reasoning as to what the fuck happens to Angela after that, or Peter rather. Please tell me the aunt is in jail. Just a slew of questions. It left me with my jaw on the floor. And even watching it again, I was just like, this movie is so deeply fucked up beyond the fact that it's a slasher film of people getting like just chopped up all left and right, or boiled alive and all this, or eaten by bees, or fucking curling irons. It's so beyond all of that. It's so psychologically fucked to think that a grown-ass woman will be like, you're not who you are. I'm gonna fucking ruin your life. To the point where you have a split personality where you're just like hissing and killing people in the nude. The end. What do you think, Daniel? Do you give it? We got a nay, a yay. What about you?
I thought he gave it a nay.
A nay. He's like the nay was invented for him.
That's what I was going to give it. I was going to give it a nay.
And that's fine.
Because I would say if you haven't seen the movie yet, it'd be a yay to go watch and see it, because at this point you already know from us talking about it, but if you have a friend that hasn't seen it or heard us talk about it, I would say have them watch it. It's definitely a yay for them because of the ending with the shock. But if you've seen it already, like it's not something if I'm gonna be like, I want to see a horror movie that's about a camp, this isn't at the top of the list.
For sure. Okay, so we got a yay, nays. Yes, I actually do have one question before we end the show. Before Friday the 13th, there really wasn't many movies surrounding like the whole camp going murder, stabby scenario. So like that definitely kicked off, like, you have Madman, you have, Mountaintop Motel Massacre in an essence. It's like these secluded areas, Sleepaway Camp, where all these like horrible things happen. As a person who has spent a significant amount of time at
summer camps,
at summer camps, is there like a level of creepiness and or fear in like that type of seclusion? I was at Akanikin. We drove past Akanikin one time, and it was pretty far out there.
Pretty fucking dark at night, for starters. So when I was a camp counselor there, you're pushing maybe, I don't know, 300 kids a week are coming to this camp. And every week it changes depending on, it could be like from 100 kids to like, 300 kids. And there's going to be at least one kid that has like, it's terrified of being away from home.
Yeah.
So there's always that. There's always like the emotional kid. Then there's like the kids that make fun of other kids. So there's definitely like the bullying and stuff on that like happens in this movie.
Did you have to deal with that hands-on a lot?
Yeah. But you stop it.
Well, look at you. Look at the balls on you.
Well, when you're the cat, like, you can't just like have other kids picking on a kid in front of you.
Well,
like,
if you saw, like, when you watch this movie,
I've been in their shoes. Like, who hasn't been picked on? Like, that's not cool. And you're far away from home. And I see you raising your hand.
I was very popular with my frizzy hair, my glasses.
Like, there's a lot of stuff. You know
my
stories.
gangliness.
Like, for me, I was a rock climbing instructor at the time for the camp I was at.
Yeah, I'm sure you got made fun of so much as a kid.
No, not. I was the counselor.
Look at my muscles.
At that point, I was. Yeah, at that point, I was like peak. But yeah, there's all types of kids that I had to teach. Like, there was like kids that are straight up like they probably never tried to climb anything in their life. Then you have a kid that probably climbed every week like I did. Then we had a kid with one arm that said he was going to learn how to climb, and we taught him how to climb.
Well, no, wasn't the story was that the kids made fun of him, saying he couldn't do it, and then you learned how to climb with one arm?
Yeah, I just climbed I was just like, well, look, you can do it. Like, I put my arm behind my back the whole day and just climbed with one arm to show him that he could do it too. And eventually he climbed to the top.
We make fun of you, but I love that story. Every time I think that you're a smacked ass, I'm like, remember that time that he climbed with one arm for a kid with one arm?
Well,
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, I think the
Showtime.
only
Lifetime movie.
Oh, didn't you jump off a cliff too to save the?
To a point was he had a severe panic attack at the top, and we're rappelling, by the way, because you're at the top. So yeah, there's a part where we would rappel, because that was part of like their merit badge to get. And the rule is do not let go with both your hands. And we have a safety set up, so the rope is like, you'll kind of fall, but you only fall like, the way that it's set up with the special carabiners and stuff that we have, you'll fall maybe like 5 feet at a time. It'll like cinch itself with like with gravity. Like, the way you have to do is you have to hold it with your one hand in front of you and hold it with the hand behind you, and you have to feed the rope through as you're going down.
Okay.
If you don't, it does eventually lock up, but with friction and stuff, it'll kind of slowly fall down. So the kid just let go at the top, and he just started falling. And my goal is like, I have to do it in reverse and like lean over the edge. So like, if it does happen, I have to chase after him running down the wall to kind of grab him and catch him. And I caught him maybe like, I don't know, he only made it like 20 feet down the wall, but he was screaming at the top of his head.
I
I probably would do the same.
But I mean, at that
Just falling down.
like at that point, like he had to learn how to do it. Like he wasn't. He
Right.
definitely have the skills to climb up because we were rappelling. So he didn't really have he didn't have the setup to climb up because if he fell, he would have just fallen back 20 feet. So I'm
Right.
like, you have to go down. Like I'm just gonna go down slowly with you and like walk you through it. So we just tippy-toed all the way down.
How does that shit not bother you? Like, how does...
Because you have to trust your gear, and then
It's not about trusting your gear, Daniel. You're so fucking high up.
I don't know. I mean,
I don't like it.
it comes to the point where if you set up your own gear yourself, you come to a level where you trust yourself that like you did it right.
I don't trust myself.
And if you did it
You ain't
every
wrong.
day, like I don't know, you just have to you have to I don't know, trust yourself that like I don't know that you're doing it.
Yeah, one more quick story, and then we'll sign off for the night.
Okay.
So, as Daniel's speaking, he does rock climb. He used to do a lot more in his past, but he took me bouldering one time in for a little
Indoor
day.
gym.
No, this
Oh,
was
the
when
outside one?
The outside. And I was like, okay, I can boulder. With
Boulder is, if you don't know what bouldering is, it's maybe climbing up, I don't know, 15, 20 feet, sometimes, I don't know, a little bit higher. But it's at a point where, like, if you fall, you can land onto what we call a crash pad, so a mat, and kind of walk away. So it's the goal is to, like, practice hard maneuvers.
Yeah, he was just showing me how to do stuff because I wanted to learn because he was so passionate about it. But I didn't really want to have to do the whole gear thing. So I was like, okay, I'll do like 10, 15 feet. And like, if you're doing that on a giant boulder, if you're on the boulder, you're literally only 5 feet off the ground if you're making it up like a rounded piece of rock. And Daniel was just like, okay, go up this one like crack. Cause when you rock climb, there is like something called crack climbing. He's like, try and go up this one crack. I'll be right behind you. It's like 15, 20 feet. You can do it. Like you have the strength to do it. Just keep going up. I get about like 10 feet up and I start freaking out. Cause I look down and I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna fucking fall. And he's like, you cannot, like, I'm right behind you. You cannot stop here. I was like, well, we're stuck here all day because I don't know what to do. He's like, go up. I'm like, why can't we go back down? He's like, because it's too slippery because there's a little bit of like moisture right here. So you have to go up or we're going to fall and get really hurt. It was the most terrifying experience and I have not bouldered since.
But did she make it to the top?
I did, but my
She
hands were
did.
cut to fucking shit.
Yeah, it is. Outside is definitely worse on your body.
And this is why I don't go to sleepaway camps. Also, I'm a grown
Well,
ass woman.
this was like a normal. This was like we're going canoeing, we're going swimming. It wasn't like
We always
trying
have these
harder
great
stuff.
ideas, and I almost wind up dead.
Yeah.
So on that note, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Monster Madness. Follow us on all social medias. Give us a rating and review. Follow us on Twitch, and by us, I mean Matt and Dan. They like to play games, sometimes together, sometimes not. Yeah. Thanks. Don't go to camp because clearly it's bad.
Bye.
Yes, I've always dreamed of a little girl just like you. I mean, we already have a boy, so another one simply would not do. Oh, no, absolutely not. A little girl would be so much nicer, don't you think so, Angela? Angela. Such a lovely name.